Yeah, his title was congressman, but in his hometown, Charles Rangel was known as the Lion of Lenox Avenue. He was a fixture in his community and in Congress. And right here in the city, Rangel passed away yesterday at the age of 94.
He was the last surviving member of Harlem's Gang of Four, which also included the late David Dinkins, Percy Sutton, and Basil Patterson. This morning, we're getting a more intimate look at the life and legacy of Charlie Rangel from someone who considers him a father figure, a friend, Elinor Tatum. She's the publisher and editor-in-chief of the New York Amsterdam News. So, Elinor, great to have you here. Sorry that this is why we're talking. But I know that you have such a deep connection to now the late Charles Rangel. Do you remember how old you were when you first met him?
Actually, I don't.
Yeah, you knew him your whole life,
He's
right?
always been there.
Yeah. I've known him my entire life. And, you know, my first memories of him, though, are probably down in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
With my mother and father, and being down at the parties down during Black Caucus.
Oh wow! So you were a child, or you were teens?
Oh no, I was.
You were little.
I was very little.
Oh,
very,
wow.
very little. I mean, I must have been like 5 and 6 years old.
Oh wow! And that voice, right?
Oh gosh, yes, that wonderful, wonderful voice.
Resonating voice.
Yes, that was just all encompassing, but very, very warm and very strong.
Yeah. I mean, you said you've known him since you were a child, but he walked you down the aisle when you got married?
Yes, he
Oh,
did.
my gosh.
You know, my father had died the year before, and he did indeed walk me down the aisle, and that was very, very special, because, as I said, he was somebody that was very close to my father as well, and he was the kind of person who took people under his wing, and that he took the whole community under his wing, because it was his job was very personal to him. His community was very personal to him. Just like a lion, you know, takes care of his pride. You know, he was the Lion of Lenox Avenue.
Yeah.
And the community was his pride.
And he was also very accessible. I mean, he has a list of accomplishments, right? It could be endless. But to your point, he was always there for the constituents. Didn't forget about why he kind of entered politics in the first place, right? I mean, what were some of his proudest moments?
Well, I mean, the empowerment zones, for one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that he was so incredibly proud of. But I think every day, the things that he could do for the individuals in his community, I mean, you know, it was the retail work that a congressperson does that I think probably were some of the most important things of the work that he did. And that is something that I think a lot of people take for granted when it comes to what politicians do every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, his office and the people that came through his office every day, and the work that he did for his constituents. You know, yes, he helped to get a lot of bills passed and made a lot of things happen in Washington, but at the end of the day, it's what you actually do for the people that, you know, that you serve.
Yeah.
He clearly left an imprint, though, on your life.
Absolutely.
Do you remember, I mean, I'm sure you had many conversations from the time you were a kid until you were an adult, living your own life, starting your career. Do you remember any words of advice that he gave you that will always stick with you?
I mean, I don't think it was necessarily words of advice, but it was just how he lived his life. And that was a life of service. And that is that, you know, it's that retail politics in a sense. It's that making sure that it's the community that counts, and that continuous service, and that it's everybody, that it's every single person. And there's not one community that's more important than another. And that you need to look at everybody equally and serve the entire community.
But he liked to party, right? He had some parties at the Congressional Black Caucus, but he also had these birthday parties at Tavern on the Green, right? It was one of the hottest tickets in town to get. Can you take us in the inside of one of his parties?
Well, I just remember as a kid, going to those parties as well, and as an adult as well, and it was a who's who of New York City politics, and there was it was just one of those things that it was a New York event every June. You know, you went to Charlie Rangel's birthday party.
Right.
And you know, everyone of New York City politics and New York City Democratic politics was there. And it was the fete of June, basically. It was a kickoff to summer almost. Was his birthday party, just as was when he had a place with his wife down in D.C.
Yeah.
You know, that party during the Congressional Black Caucus.
Yeah.
But you know, he just welcomed everybody.
So I'm curious, though. I interviewed him many times during my career in journalism here in the city, and he did have this presence. But was there a side of him that we didn't get a chance to see? Like, what was he like when he wasn't in public? Because clearly you were a family friend.
I mean, he was very, very warm, but when he was also very passionate about all of the things that mattered to him, and very passionate about his family, and very devoted to his wife.
Yeah.
He loved, I mean, it was so clear that whether he was in public or in private, that he loved Harlem, and that he loved his community. And, you know, even when we were in those, you know, whether he was at our house or we were at his house, he was always talking about what he could do for the community and how important that was.
Yeah.
So what you saw out there was not much different than what you saw inside.
Right, which is...
That's who he was.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And that's who he will be remembered as.
Of course.
Because he was, you know, again, that lion of Lenox Avenue.
A New York giant.
Yeah, just along with a gang of four. I mean, they were, you know, they're all gone now, and they will be sorely missed.
Elinor, thank you for coming in, giving us a snapshot, and taking us inside. Sorry for your loss. I know you're very deeply tied to Congressman Rangel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.